What's going on, family? What's going on, family? So, just real quick, um, because I'm about to get ready for work in a minute. But just been thinking, man, how this program is really derived off of, making you appear crazy. You know what I'm saying? But you got to remember who is controlling everything. Who is controlling everything? God is controlling everything. You know what I'm saying? And certain things ain't supposed to be revealed until it's divine timing. So just because you're going through persecution, you expect, the curtains to be open, but it's just not that time yet. You know what I'm saying? People, even if people are monitoring, watching everything you do or a lot of your activities and things, and they know what you're about, the way they comprehend things ain't gonna be the way that you comprehend things. Your motives are different. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like in a situation in the Bible. I looked at King David, right? Or you know what I'm saying? Um, Saul, King Saul was the first king of Israel, and David was the second. So a lot of people wanted, Saul. You know what I'm saying? But God favored David. And Saul got real jealous of David and stuff like that. And Saul just been hunting David, been on the hunt for David. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like when God chooses you, you know what I'm saying? The people of the world ain't gonna like that. You know what I'm saying? And we're not perfect, so we make mistakes. God's people do make mistakes, but God delivers us from these mistakes. God knows what our intentions, our heart, and things like that. And God knows that how Satan devises up plans to plant seeds in your heart to turn you to a dark path that Satan is destined for you, knowing that you're going to fall into it with your free will choice. But God, being the ultimate overseer, prevented things like that from happening. You get what I'm saying? So there was times that, David had to pretend insanity. Not saying, what I'm saying, we pretending insanity in this program, but it just kind of relate a lot with my situation, like how I be at work. Because everywhere I go to work, it's always the tactics they want you to absorb. It's always things they want you to absorb. They want you to be calm. They, you know what I mean, are aggressive. You know what I'm saying? But because you're not going to be aggressive, you know what I'm saying? They want you to calmly absorb the stabbings of the torment, tactics. They want you to constantly absorb what they project, and they constantly want you to comprehend that secret language, of the invisible torture that's going on in plain sight. So when I be at work, you know what I'm saying? I be hyper at work. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not demonically possessed or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I be hyper at work. Um, I be getting my mind fixated, you know what I'm saying, on doing the job and getting home. Because I notice when I be at work and I'm just quiet and I'm just trying to be genuine, my genuine self, I'm absorbing all these tactics. Even if I try to ignore and be nice, it's still this darkness, that be in my heart, or this darkness that I got to get rid of, you know what I'm saying, when I get home and chop it up with my wife. So, you know what I mean? What I do, not saying this is because different strokes for different folks, you know what I'm saying? Some people, but for me, with my mind and how I work and how I operate with things, because I'm already got that carefree. I know I'm around agents, and there might be people that might not be agents, but I'm around enough agents to see that, you know what I'm saying? My work environment is pretty much going to be artificial. You know what I'm saying? They already kind of projecting it that, oh, you're slaving. You know what I'm saying? We got you doing the hardest work here at work and you working for little to nothing, but it's keeping things afloat for right now. So while I'm, doing my thing at work and keeping things afloat for right now, I'm gonna show you how David pretended his insanity. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so in 1 Samuel chapter 21, verse 12 on down to 15, David was, like I said, running from Saul, and he ran into another king of Gath. So David took these words to heart and was very much afraid of Achish, king of Gath. So he pretended to be insane in their presence. And while he was in their hands, he acted like a madman, making marks on the doors of the gate and letting saliva run down his beard. Achish said to his servants, "Look at the man. He's insane. Why bring him to me? Am I so short a madman that you have to bring this fellow here to carry on like this in front of me? Must this man come into my home?" You know what I mean? So with that being said, it's just like these people look at you and like it's a whole thing of they're trying to see where they can fit you at in their program. You know what I'm saying? It's all about unification in some type of way, form. If you're not crashing out, you know what I'm saying? Because if you crash out, you unify with the dark spirit either way. But when you're still alive and you ain't crashing out like that, they still need some type of unification. They still need some type of service from you. You know what I'm saying? But they're saying like, with me being at work, vibing, being hyper, doing my dancing, I might do my little singing and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And ignoring the tactics, and it's working for me. You know what I mean? Regardless of what type of energy they're picking up from it. You know what I'm saying? It's deflecting for me the tactics. You know what I'm saying? So now they got to try harder because it's like it's an unapproachable. It's a shield. It's unapproachable. So now they look, oh man, this dude here, he little wild. He little, you know what I'm saying? What's wrong with him? But I'm still being respectful. You know what I mean? I'm not all up in people's ear. I'm not all up in people's way. I'm not being perverted with it. I'm getting my job done. But as far as when they tried, oh man, we gotta approach him some type of way. Oh man, I just hit, you know what I mean? So they be like, oh man, this man, out of his mind. Why do we need him? Why do we need him? You know what I mean? So you see it's something darker. You see it's nothing humanly. It's something darker. You know what I mean? It's of the devil. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, if I ain't gonna make it to heaven, you ain't gonna make it to heaven. And the more people that we can prevent from answering to their calling, the more time we can delay, because the devil know that his time is short. You know what I'm saying? So there was even a time where, you know what I mean? Sometimes you got to play dumb. You can't show all your hands, you know what I'm saying, dealing with this program. I'm not saying go into act like a schizophrenic out here and stuff like that. I'm not saying, act like, just a complete madman. But certain situations, certain people, you're not supposed to be intertwined. You know you're not of these people. You still have to live in the world with these people. You still have to respect these people. You know what I'm saying? You still have to, in some type of form, show some kind of, love. You know what I mean? Even if it's from a distance, but you don't have to kiss nobody's behind. You know what I mean? You don't have to kiss nobody's behind. You don't have to, only service that you're doing is service so that you can stay afloat. You're not doing service that you have to do, service of bringing other people down, a service of bringing people to suicide, or a service that you wasn't called for to do. You know what I mean? Some service that they making you do because they trying to make you feel guilty of something. A service that they make like they doing you a favor. It's like, okay, you do us a service. Get out of that service. Get out of that mindset. Me, when I'm at work, this is what they be thinking. I'm crazy, I'm out of my mind, but they know it. They know I'm not. They see that I get the work done. They see what I need to do on a daily basis. You get what I'm saying, family? You know? And, it's going to be times where people going to think that, the men of God are crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's another, let me see, there's another one. Let's go in the New Testament. Acts chapter, let me see. Real quick. I'm going to go ahead and get on ready for work. I think it's Acts chapter 24. Let me see what's going on. But yeah, what works for some folks don't work for all. You know what I mean? What works for some folks don't work for all. So it's just like you got to use your wisdom with the skin that you in. You know what I mean? To make it work for you. So Acts chapter 24. Let me see if I can find it. I can't find it. Where it says, you know what I mean? These people think, the Pharisees are going against Apostle Paul and they trying to, say that his gospel about God in the flesh, Jesus Christ, God in the flesh, that a human being can be God, got crucified, and was just telling the good news. A lot of people ain't gonna come to terms with that, God being in the flesh and things like that. Hold on, I'm trying to find it where they said he was crazy. They said he was out of his mind. No, it's Acts chapter 24, but let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can pause